migrant women find work in the domestic services sector as well as the informal trade sector, it is no surprise that they face a number of challenges in this sector while they try to work and make a living in South Africa. I'm your host, Lelethu, and today we are discussing this very important issue, looking into some of the challenges that are faced by migrant women, specifically those that work in the domestic services as well as the informal trade sector. Please do not forget to join in on our social media conversations. On our Instagram, we are official underscore Africa Unite. On Twitter, we are official Africa underscore Unite underscore ZA. And on Facebook, we are Africa Unite. Let us know what your thoughts are. What are some of the challenges that migrant women face while trying to make a living in South Africa? And joining us today, we have Miss Anita, who will be helping us unpack this very, very important topic. She works for a CBO that specifically works with single mothers in communities, and she's going to tell us more about that shortly. Hi, Anita. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much. And thank you for welcoming me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, just to start off the show, can you tell us about, just the work that you do? What does your organization do? What's the work that you do?
I work as a coordinator for the Bridge of Hope's United Single Mothers, which is a CBO dealing with single mothers dedicated to support migrant single mothers and their vulnerable children.
Okay, awesome. And you've encountered some, women obviously that work in informal trade and that work in sort of domestic work. What do you think then are some of the challenges that this migrant women face specifically? I know there's a number of challenges faced by migrant women in South Africa, specifically Black or African migrant women. What would you say are some of the most common challenges that are faced by migrant women that specifically work in the domestic sector as well as the informal trade sector?
First of all, the gender documentation, it's a challenge. It is a gender one that it's not only for the women, but even for the men. So the process itself is very cumbersome to get it. Even those who have managed to get the proper requirements to get it, the process takes so long. So at the end of the day, it becomes a challenge getting to work. As they work, they're paid less because they don't have proper documentation. It becomes a challenge. And when it comes to informal trading, basically these are street vendors, salon people working on hair, salon people, and there are others selling small piece. They always have a challenge of documentation, papers, they're not fully licensed. They work in fear, anything can happen. So basically, documentation is a very big challenge. Even those with proper requirements, they take long to get those documents which permits them to work. Then secondly, when you look at the domestic workers, most migrant women are underlooked, are paid low wages. They're paid low compared to the fellow South Africans. And the reason being they're immigrant workers. And when they look at you, like you have nowhere to go. So they're paid low and the labor, the exploited one. And that exploitation comes from the labor laws. Labor laws don't consider, they don't have a clause for the migrant women. You don't have a document, and not having a documentation is not your fault, first of all, because you have all the requirements. Probably your papers are lying right there in the Home Affairs. So you'll be exploited whatever way they want. You also talked about the sex workers. Challenges cut across.
Because I'm realizing now, and you touched on the labor laws as well, that there's no specific clauses that speak to migrant women. So based on that then, would you say that the South African law protects or doesn't protect migrant women enough in that regard?
It does not. No, it does not. And they just talk about it. Even if they talk about it, it is just left there. There is no action taken.
No implementation. So it could be there in black and white in the papers, but it's not implemented.
It's not implemented.
And do you think the women then, even if there is laws there, do you think they know that they are protected? Because a huge issue that we've found is that a lot of migrants, specifically women, don't understand that some of these laws actually are there to protect them. Do you think they understand or they know that they're protected?
To an extent, some don't understand. Most women don't stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
That's why we came up with that initiative as single mothers, basing on the experience I went through personally, and we say, no, we must stand up for this. And our major work is to create awareness, to empower, and make sure everyone gets to know their rights.
Yes, so that touches in on the question that I was about to ask you just now. So what do you think can be done more? You've just mentioned now creating awareness. So you probably do like educational, public education sessions and things like that.
Yes, we do.
Yes. So, besides that, is there anything else that you guys do and that you think should be done specifically by government?
Before going to the government, we do trainings. We do sensitization, we do educational trainings on various topics. We do skilling so that we become resourceful. Then when it comes to the part of the government or the governance, we would want the advocacy to come up in solidarity with us, to stand with us. That will empower us to know our rights. Some of the ladies, they don't know, like I said before, they don't know their rights, but we are busy doing that in our community. And yes, we are getting there and we are happy.
Great. Thank you so much. We will continue with the conversation right after the break. Please do not forget to also join in on the conversation. Let us know what you think government can do to protect migrant workers, specifically those that work in the domestic services sector, as well as those that work in the informal trade sector. Remember, on Instagram, we are official_Africa Unite. On Twitter, we are Africa_Unite_ZA. And on Facebook, we are Africa Unite. Let us know what your thoughts are. We still have Anita here in studio with us, and we're still continuing the conversation right after the break. Please stay tuned. And welcome back. You are still watching Conversations with Africa Unite right here on CTV. We are talking about a very important topic today. We're looking into some of the challenges that migrant women face when they come to try and make a living here in South Africa. And we're looking specifically into the challenges faced by domestic workers as well as informal traders who are from other countries. And joining us today, we have Miss Anita, and she was giving us some perspectives as to what she has encountered and some of the work that she has done. But please, before we continue with the conversation, please do not forget to join in on the social media conversations. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, and we are on Facebook. Let us know what your thoughts are and what you think are some of the challenges that are faced by migrant women. Anita, you mentioned something very, very important before we went to ad break.
Yes.
You spoke about migrant sex workers and that they also face, some of the challenges that are faced by domestic workers as well as informal traders. So would you say then exploitation is also a part of, some of the challenges faced by sex workers, and what are some of the other challenges?
Thank you so much. Like I said at the beginning, migrant women are faced with so many challenges, in particularly discrimination becomes second of it. First was the documentation, then I'm talking about discrimination. When it comes to sex workers, they're equally discriminated as any other field, as long as they're migrants. First, we needed to know who are the migrant women. These are the women who cross borders into South Africa. Probably not only South Africa. There are also women who cross to other countries, but they're migrating because of various reasons. Like anyone can migrate from Eastern Cape to Western Cape. To look for work because of various reasons. So the same with us who come in here. And when we are here, we have always asked various questions. Personally, sometimes I get tired of answering. Whoever you meet will find, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? First of all, that is not right. We needed to understand, and the discrimination we get, first as women, is already a challenge. Then as migrant, is a double challenge.
Black woman,
yes,
still.
A black woman, again, it's a double challenge here. So it's very challenging. Single motherhood, very, very, very challenging. So to go back on sex workers are exploited, and when it comes to them being migrant, sometimes they're not paid. When you just think of the crimes perpetrated against them, is quite a lot. And in my work, I got time to go and find them, speak to them, find out how are they doing. So I got to know all what they go through and to understand them. They're not doing that because they want. Most of these women, they don't do that because they want. They're doing that just because to make a survival, to look after their families, their children. That is it. But they face a lot of challenges. They are marginalized. The government doesn't help. Like if they are not paid, if they are, all the abuses they go through, physical, emotional, when they reach out to the police, they don't mind them. Yes, I've received. They don't get the help they deserve, like migrant. First, once they get to know that, oh, this is a migrant woman, they will not care.
Wow. And then I wanted to ask then, because I think we've been talking about the challenges very much.
Yeah.
You obviously work with different women, specifically single mothers. You know, and you mentioned even off air that you yourself are from Uganda. What are some of the stories that stand out to you that you have encountered, that, you know, you've seen migrant women sort of being exploited or, you know, facing these challenges that you've mentioned to us? What are some of these stories that you've seen in the work that you do?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm from Crane land, which is Uganda. I talk of Crane because we have Crane in our, what is it called? Okay, let me leave that. So basically, that major challenge I've faced under stories is to navigate through the country. When someone comes, it's already a new country.
Yes.
It traumatizes to navigate through, knowing here and there. Most of these ladies whom I've heard stories from, they don't have the support system, like the family behind. You come here, some because of the security purposes, some they're coming for economic reasons.
Yes.
And others, there are so various reasons why they are here. And mostly being in a new country, navigating through, it's not easy. It's traumatizing. And when you're into that trauma, then to get a support system like a family to lean on, it's very hard. That's why most ladies end up on the street as street workers. Others are even unable to do the same work because you don't even know where to start and where to go. So the stories are different and are relative. That is it. Thank you.
And then, so what would you say then are some of the ways that, you know, you've seen them thrive and you've seen them sort of overcome? Maybe a success story that you've seen with the women that you've worked with?
Yes, there is a success story. In the process of navigating through, most of the ladies, remember I work with single mothers, most of this, they end up with men just to get comfort, some to get shelters. That's how they get children. And after they're thrown on the street, they're left
they don't
out.
Have anywhere to go.
So they become single mothers. So some of them, they come through, they seek for help from organization. If we reach out to them, first, it's also a challenge that we don't have many advocacy groups which reaches out. And I thank the Bridge of Hope that we are going deep into to find out them, and we are bridging that process, and we are helping them to restore the hope and the healing. So the success story, once they come up and they stand that, look here, we've been through this challenge, how can we get help? Then they get help and they come up, they find work on the street. Most of them, these are the street vendors. And the people you saw on the street vendors are with the small work, they're able to pay the rent, they're able to take the children to school. It's a success already. And the process of healing we take them through, it helps them to stand back as women. Because at the beginning, when you're going through that trauma, it's like your dignity is taken away from you. You don't have the confidence in yourself anymore. And this one takes away all your capabilities, and all your abilities are not utilized. Look, most of the migrant women, they looked as low people who can't even speak. Some people, even when you stand out to speak English, they wonder. They think you can't even speak. So they find them as people who we are always marginalized, let me say so. That means the esteem, the condition we go through puts our esteem down.
Self-esteem.
So when the esteem is down, the capability of utilizing your abilities is not there. So I've seen some women stand out. And when they stand out, come back to there, they have become business women. They are doing business, they're speaking out, and they're getting good jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's continue this conversation after the break. And after the break, we'll be talking about some of the work that Anita has done with the Bridge of Hope. We'll look into some of their programs and how you back at home can get in touch with them. Please do not forget to join in on the conversation. Let us know what you are doing to empower yourself as a migrant woman, if you are. And if not, just let us know what some of the challenges you've seen that are being faced by migrant women, specifically those that are in the domestic work sector, informal trade sector. Please don't forget, on Instagram, we are official_Africa Unite. On Twitter, we are Africa_Unite_ZA. And on Facebook, we are Africa Unite. Please stay tuned. See you after the break. And welcome back from the break. If you have just joined us, we are discussing all things migrant women, the challenges that are faced by migrant women while they try to make a living in South Africa. We look into some of, the migrant women that work in the domestic sector, the domestic work sector. We look into the informal trade sector and some of the challenges that they have faced. We are still speaking to Anita here in studio. But before we continue with the conversation, please let us know what you think are some of the challenges that are faced by migrant women. Remember, on our Instagram, we are official_Africa Unite. On Twitter, we are Africa_Unite_ZA. And on Facebook, we are Africa Unite. Now, Anita, now we want to know more about your organization. What kind of work are you doing? You mentioned you do some upskilling. You assist women to find that confidence again, to be able to stand up for themselves, to be able to do more work, and to be able to make a living for themselves, especially as single mothers. What kind of projects or programs are you running? What other programs and projects are you doing?
Literally, as Bridge of Hope, we do collaborate. We do networking and collaboration with other organizations is a key, and we do that. We've been doing the upskilling with different organizations which are helping us through. And we do the sewing and the reading, the drama therapy for someone to come up and stand up, because there's some creativity in us which don't come out. And by doing that drama therapy, through counseling, talking to individual by individual, there is group sessions we have. It helps people, they will speak out. That's how we identify our talents. Then the lady come out and we are able to know this one belongs here, this one can do here better, this one can stand better for this. Then secondly, I also do referral. But like, we are the first responders. So once we respond, when we are out in the community, we find a challenge and we cannot go further. We refer, because there are other bigger organizations who are our parents. Like apparently I work under Sumami. When I work, they help us. Right now as I talk, I'm also seated with the challenge of a single mother who tried to find love somewhere, and he was also marginalized, neglected, and put somewhere. So she reached out to me, and right now I'm coordinating her transportation to get back to us here, then she can receive help. That is basically the kind of work. So when she comes, she has to go the process of healing. You know, it is traumatizing. There is self-denial. All that we go through them, and we help. That one is in counseling sessions, one-on-one. Yeah. Then we do the support groups. These support groups, we normally sit on Thursdays. Yeah. And we talk, information sharing, what have you done, what can you better. It's also good. Another thing we do better is to bring us as a family. I always call it a family spirit. Normally, it's like our core value. Yeah. Family spirit. We want to belong. Like I said, most of the migrant women, they don't have a support system. What do I mean by a support system? If like you get married today and you get problems, they are talking of this, though the man doesn't want you anymore, where do you go? Who will talk to him?
Because you're in a different country.
You're already trying to navigate through. You have nowhere. That trauma. So we are a family. We want to create a sense of belonging where you will come and this is where I fall. Yeah. So we come together with the family spirit and we help the women.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm sure there's a migrant woman out there sitting and wondering how they can get in touch with the work that you do. Maybe they also need assistance. Maybe they are also neglected. How can, you know, they get in touch with you? How can they get a hold of you and be part of the group as well?
Yeah, we work with the Tsumame, like I said, and we are based now. Before we were based in Sea Point, but now we've moved to East Reveal because we found that we have so many women there. We kept moving to East Reveal. There are so many migrant women who are suffering. They're outside here, but they're in East Reveal. That is where we are based, and we are on 47 Forest Drive. You can find us there, or you can come and register with Tsumame. Then you can find me. Okay, you contact, awesome. Actually, you contact Tsumame Wanawaka, which is also under African Unite. You get help.
Okay, great. And now just, do you have any last words or words of encouragement to any woman out there who, you know, are in a devastating state and they have no idea where to go, what to do? You know, they're working in the domestic sex area or they're working as an informal trader or as a sex worker. They have no idea where to go, what to do. What can you say to them? What advice can you maybe give to them as your last words?
Thank you so much. My advice would be always not to look down on themselves, to stand out. Much as you have nothing, when it is your time, when someone comes, you must stand and speak for yourself. If you feel you can't speak for yourself, reach out. We are right there. Reach out. We can stand and speak for you. I know, I understand there is limited advocacy groups which stands in solidarity with us. Basically, the South African advocacy group, they don't come with us, but we are here. We are standing, and there are many organizations which can help. I know there are so many migrant women who cannot speak the language, like, you know, we are from different countries. We speak different languages, and some other, they underlook at themselves because of the language they speak. So that one is also a challenge, actually. But when you come out and you speak out, always seek help. And even if you don't know anywhere to go, you go on the Google. Personally, I overcame this challenge. Like, I did not tell the story how I was before and how I came to come up with such an organization until I had to go on Google, because I'm glad I knew Google will give me the answer. Then I found the organization. I went there, I found help. So once, if you have a smartphone, use it. You'll find me there, and you'll find other people who will be helpful.
Great. Thank you so much, Anita. Interesting conversations right there. But please do remember, it doesn't end here. It doesn't stop here. Please join in on our conversations on social media. Don't forget, on Instagram, we are official_Africa Unite. On Twitter, we are Africa_Unite_ZA. And on Facebook, we are Africa Unite. Let us know what your thoughts are on today's topic. And please stay tuned for our next episode next week. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.